Alright, you're back on.
Alright, so then I had him get shot at the end. And,
That was good. You remember where you left off.
thank you. Well, now I'm going to get sidetracked because I'm going to...
What was the play about? You said World War II.
It was about a husband, or no, it wasn't a husband. It was a guy and his girlfriend, and you saw both sides, and she kept writing him letters, and he kept writing her letters, so you kept seeing where he was at.
What branch of military was he in?
The Army. And I actually took an actual, like, please edit this part out, because I can't even remember the word. Like, I actually took the actual company he was with, and then I just made up a character and threw him in there. So I actually had, like, well, first we're going here, and then we're going here, and so you actually followed it along. Kind of like with Band of Brothers, but it wasn't Band of Brothers. But anyway, and so I had the real army going to where they were going and everything like that, and real battles that they were going to fight in and stuff like that. And then right near when the war was supposed to end, he was going to get to come home. And at the very last scene, the scene before the last scene, second to last scene, he says something. He's talking to his sergeant or whatever. I'd have to get the play out because this was back in 2001. So it's 2010, so it's a long time ago. And he says something like, I mean, I haven't read it since, or I haven't watched the video or anything since. But anyway, and he says something about you get to go home, you know. He's like, oh, you know, he's so excited, and then he says, so where do you live? And he's like, I live in Portland. He's like, oh, Portland, Maine? He's like, nah, Portland, Oregon. As soon as he says Oregon, I had the loudest gun sound shot through the whole auditorium. And I had strobe lights on the audience, like I had them all along, and it just did one big flash, and then the whole stage was black. And all you heard was his sergeant yelling, medic, medic, medic. And then the lights came up. Everybody's crying. It was the greatest feeling as a writer. Like, I hit the mark, what I wanted to do. I wanted to have that, you know, get everybody and just grip them by the somethings. And everybody's just crying. I'm watching women look around for tissues because I'm like, I was upstage at first, but I made my way behind stage so I could actually look out at the crowd, like hidden. You know, I had a perfect view from backstage. I could sneak right through because there was like trees and stuff on stage.
Where was it performed?
Where was it performed?
Yeah.
In Maple Shade. It was
like a theater?
No, it was at a church.
Oh.
Because they let me do it.
That's pretty intense for a church.
It was real intense for a church. It was awesome. And then the next scene, we just had Amazing Grace played, and all you saw was, which wouldn't actually make sense. I kind of doctored how history really would be. Like two soldiers came in bearing a flag, a folded flag, and handed it to the girlfriend. Because they wouldn't actually hand it to the girlfriend. Most likely they'd hand it to the parents. But I didn't talk about his parents at all on the thing. It was all about the girlfriend. So giving her the flag. And then like afterwards, everybody and their mother told me how great they were at writing and how they thought it was awesome. But then they told me like, I have an idea for a play. I have an idea for this. And then I started getting all these people giving me stuff. And they would hand me like, hey, can you read over this? I wrote this. And then I'm reading people's stuff and I mean, I had, Shani can tell you, I had just like, that's my wife. Shanna is my wife. Just a whole bunch of different people just handing me stuff, and it was just like, you know, like, I like to go shopping with my mother, and she stole something, and da 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 da. What do you think of chapter 1? Like, it's great. I don't know. I'm not an editor. I write. Yeah, okay, you know. So, but I tried to be nice, and I read all their crap, and
That was nice of you.
yeah, it was, and but I didn't. I told everybody when I read, I'm like, I'm not gonna make any changes. I'm not. You do what you want to do. I'll give you like critique. But then there was a couple people that like, it was like it went from first person to third person to second person. Like it was just like, I like to go to the store with my mom. She was wearing a black dress. She was wearing a red dress. Like, who? who is wearing a red dress? Like, why was? Like, what? You just changed people. You can't. And then you read all the past and present tense. So if you're going to be a writer, keep the same tense the whole way through. Keep the same, unless you're,
Point of view.
Yeah, but then you can also, don't worry about punctuation anymore. Because I don't think in writing anymore it matters. Punctuation doesn't matter because you got, what's his name? Who's the guy that wrote The Road and No Country for Old Men?
Don't test me.
McCormick. What's his name? McCormick? No, McCormick. I'm a little retarded in here because I can't remember, and I've read them both. But he doesn't use punctuation.
So just run-on sentences?
Pretty
Or
much.
like-
There's
paragraph breaks?
barely. And there's no apostrophe, so you don't know
That's interesting.
it out.
You need to,
if... You ever read No Country for Old Men?
no.
Check it out.
Alright.
It's a tough read because you're not used to it.
Yeah.
But then, and now I've gone back and I've read all this other stuff, and I've, because I talked earlier about not reading, and I never read any of Shakespeare's stuff, even though in school we were supposed to, and I just read the Cliff Notes or whatever. But then I love the movie Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, and so then I decided, you even know who Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are? This is a bad job. I thought you guys were into reading.
I am.
So then Hamlet. Have you ever read Hamlet?
Yeah.
His two best friends are Rosencrantz and
I don't
Guildenstern.
remember. That was high school.
Oh, yeah.
Don't judge me.
I do.
I'm supposed to be judging you.
Yeah, well, that's a bad job since I can't remember who wrote The Road and who wrote No Country for Old Men. I would call it my friend that he's better at this than I am. Anyway, and so Hamlet's two main friends are Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, and then Rosencrantz and Guildenstern was a play then written about his two friends from their perspective, and Hamlet's just like a side character that he's their friend, like they're the main characters. And then it was turned into a movie with Tim Roth and Gary Oldman and Richard Dreyfuss. And so I really enjoyed the movie, so then I went back and had to read Hamlet because I didn't really understand the movie as much as I wanted to. So.
And that's what started your
and
reading?
that's what I read, all of Shakespeare, and then I read...
That's intense.
Why?
Old English?
It's not as bad as you think. Once you start going with the flow, it's just kind of... It's easy reads, and, and I read the Harry Potter books because I lost a bet. And
How'd that go?
I don't enjoy them at all.
What was the bet?
It's the friend that got me into writing, the teacher that I used to work with. We're still really tight. And we bet each other some things, and I forget what the bet actually was, but I remember it was whoever lost had to read 3 books that the other one picked. And I was like, so I had all these big old books, War and Peace, and I was gonna totally, and he was like, Harry Potter 1, 2, 3. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I was like, you know what, I'll do it, I'll show you. So I did, and then I was at 3, and then 4 had just come out, and I was like, might as well kick it out, So then I was at 4, and then eventually I just read them all, and then I was like, why did I read them? I didn't really enjoy it. And then somebody's like, you gotta see the movie. So I watched the first movie, and I was like, man, that was terrible. And so.
Okay. This is your last minute, so you feel free to say whatever you want.
And I also like lollipops and rainbows.
Really?
No, I like to incorporate a lot of music into my plays and my writing. And when I write, I listen to a lot of music. That's good.
No, it's good. Your writing style is something I should talk about next interview.
Yeah.
I'll make a note.
Yeah.
I'm making a note right now, actually.
Most of the stuff I do write, I have a lot of music. And when I do write, I usually blare music in the iPods or whatever. And it depends on what I'm writing, but most of the time it goes from between classical to 50s, 60s, 70s rare stuff that not a lot of people are listening to. And then sometimes it's real heavy and hard. It's for the Second World War, you'd think, hey, I'm going to listen to the 20s and stuff, even though I put a lot of that music into it, like Glenn Miller and stuff, and I'm done.
Sorry. Okay.